up, everybody? It's another great day. Welcome to another episode of Rugby Sense with GiftTime and Flynn, where we take 5 minutes to talk about rugby news and entertainment happening and or related to the United States.
Hello, everybody. We're here talking D1A playoffs. We're here talking Varsity Cup, Atlanta Sevens, and of course, how could we forget Hong Kong Sevens? Here with a special guest, Chris. Chris, boys, how we doing?
Dude, awesome. Chris.
I'm so glad to be backstage so I get a chance to chat with you again. It's been too long, man.
It has been. You know, this is what happens whenever you start to go big and famous, and now, you know, you leave the little people behind, you know, but I'm glad
over here.
I wouldn't say that, man. I always come back to it.
Dude, look, why don't you tell us a little bit, you know, what you've been up to the last few months? Been out in Australia, doing it big, Byron Bay. Let us know. What's been going on?
Yeah, well, besides picking up, I guess, a little bit of an accent, you know, been able to play a little bit of rugby since I've been over there. Just a good bit of competition and everything like that. I mean, it was good to kind of, I guess, step away a bit and have time to focus on kind of my playing style and where I saw myself. So it's good chances and opportunities to really test myself and see where I stood, and no better place to do it in Australia.
Hey, look, you know what? If you don't have a reason to go down under, I can't think of a better one to make if that one. I mean, rugby in its purest fruition. I mean, it's enough that the U.S. hasn't been able to do very much against them in sevens this last few years.
Yeah, we'll see on that.
Dude, well, look, man. You know, we're glad to be able to have you on. Let's kick this off right away. Varsity Cup is coming up and starting this week. Proverbially biggest rugby 15s, collegiate rugby 15s tournament here in the United States. Takes place over the course of 3 weeks. Involves teams from BYU, Arizona State, Penn State, Dartmouth, Clemson, Arkansas State, Notre Dame, Navy, Texas, California, Oklahoma, Army, UCLA, Central Washington, Air Force Academy, and Utah. We've talked about them for the last couple weeks, kind of just building into it, and this is the last week. We want to throw in our predictions, our full official predictions, locked in for the game. Dude, let's start off. Chris, man, you know what? You're the guest of honor today. Let's go ahead, throw off. We're going to put 5 minutes up on the board. Go ahead, man.
Easy enough. Well, I mean, for me personally, for the D1A playoffs, I mean, you got to look at BYU. They're probably the biggest threat in the competition, and especially with hosting that tournament in their own backyard, it would push me and motivate me to try to get that final game in your own stadium. So I'll look for them to try to defend their turf for sure. Definitely a game I'm interested in that first round is going to be that Clemson-Arkansas State game. I know Arkansas State used to play live, you know, Davenport. They have a lot of that kind of competition from the D1A side and stuff like that. So I'd be interested to see how Clemson do, and I think they could have a chance for a bit of a competition, a bit of a battle out there. So I'm kind of looking forward to that game on that side of the bracket. And of course, you can't talk without these playoffs without looking at Cal. I mean, Cal and BYU are probably the two biggest names when you're looking at this collegiate playoff. They always go head-to-head, and it was a close call last year for them, so I'm sure Cal is pretty motivated to get back at it again. Otherwise, I mean, you know, you do have a couple, like, traditional front-runners in this competition. I mean, you have Notre Dame, Navy, Army, a lot of these kind of, like, traditional schools that have a lot of background and a lot of history behind it. Especially after seeing that Army video that's been put up the past few weeks or so, definitely gave me motivation to get behind them. And I like to see them kind of push towards that late round and get in that Final Four kind of bracket. Trying to think what else we have. You know, Oklahoma, UCLA. I mean, being from San Diego, it's kind of my hometown team. I kind of got a rep for them a bit. It'd be good to see the Bruins kind of make a bit of a run, especially represent the Pac-12 and all that kind of stuff. So it'd be kind of good to see everyone push themselves. I know Utah, Air Force as well. Another good little matchup. I'll probably see the Utes going in on that one as well.
Dude, Flynn, man, what's good?
Well, kind of how I did a little differently. I put together my final four of the bracket. So on one side we got BYU, Arkansas State. Other side, Cal versus Central Washington. But what I see in the final is going to be a rematch of last year, man, is BYU Cal. I mean, the Red Wolves, Arkansas State, traditionally one of the better teams in the D1A, always taking on top teams. But as of late, man, like you said, BYU in the home backyard, and I want Cal is itching for some blood for last year. So in that final, I'm going to take Cal over BYU 100%. They want revenge. They're still pissed off about last year, but even though BYU would have the home field advantage, I think Cal's going to come in on it.
Dude, I like how you just said, you know what, F the quarterfinals and the round of round of 16.
I mean, honestly, you could put together the quarterfinals, but no one cares unless you're in the final.
It's all about
no one cares who's in the first round. It's all about the Final Four. I mean, let's be honest.
F those guys, man. How dare you even come into the tournament? Look, you already lost before you began. I don't think you understand. But you know what? No. I can understand. And you know what? I think this is one of those times where I'm going to be hoping that there's a big upset somewhere, because I do think that for the most part you're going to see you're going to essentially see what you guys have said, BYU, Cal. But for me, I threw a little loop in there. I added Clemson. That Clemson-Arkansas State game, again, is one that has really got me interested. Again, we've talked about it before. Clemson not having a field, Arkansas State kind of being a young team. They've always been historically good, but they're not really there this time. I think that one's going to be a great one. But I really feel like this Clemson team is going to be running on, like, pure rage. It didn't help that they tweeted me and they were like, "Look, we got this," and I was like, "You know what?"
Yeah, I saw that. That was cool, man.
Right?
That was cool.
I gotta respect confidence like that. Like that's awesome. You gotta let it go. So I really do expect them to make some big moves. They do have a tough one. For me, I kind of had BYU beating Penn State. Obviously, dude, you're in the back. I'm sorry, I had BYU beating Arizona State. Arizona State losing to University of Arizona, D1A team, which is good, but this is a D1A team that got their butts handed to them by St. Mary's, Lindenwood, and Utah. 2 out of like 3 of those teams are going to be in the championships in D1A, and the other one is in Varsity Cup right now. I had Penn State over Dartmouth. Again, saw them play a little bit against Clemson. That one should be an interesting one, but I don't think Clemson would have to deal with them because BYU will take care of that business. And then had Notre Dame over Navy. I think Notre Dame, again, a classic team. Texas losing to California because, like you guys have said, UCal's coming for blood. They're coming for straight up blood.
It's a revenge.
All right? They've done this twice in a row. They're not about to let it go. Like, Jack Clark is like, no, F you guys. All right, I'm tired of these Mormon guys coming in and taking our stuff. Good games and all, but no, we're not letting blue take over. It's all about the yellow and blue in this situation. So Cal Berkeley's trying to do their damage. But I will still say up and down, the team to look out for is Central Washington University. Dark horse team. Utah, I was going back and looking at their records, looking at a few of their games. Much better team than I gave them credit for. 5th in D1A. Definitely one that is constantly in the mix. Lost to BYU pretty badly, so I don't know what it's going to say so much for their chances in the championships if they were to make it. But my Final Four were BYU, Clemson, California, and Central Washington University. But still got to live with the finals. Cal versus BYU. It's still collegiate rugby sports in the U.S. where parity kind of goes to die a little bit. So, I got to give it to one of those two. And I'm probably going to end up leaning on BYU because they look like they're still beast mode. Those dudes are massive. Like, it's too big. That whole island needs to stop going to BYU. Samoa and Fiji and all those dudes, all those Peloponnesians. But all right, awesome. Look, that was way over. That was a little over our 5 minutes, and now I'm okay with that. Let's move on to the next subject. This weekend, 2 Sevens tournaments that the USA is going to be in. Let's talk about Atlanta Sevens first. At least it's going to be home ground stuff. Women's tournament. It's going to be 16 teams. It's featuring a team from Australia, Fiji, New Zealand, Canada, France, Russia, Spain, England, USA, and newcomers into it are going to be Japan, Ireland, and Colombia. So we're going to get a little bit of additional Latin spice coming out of there. Didn't even know Colombia had a women's team, let alone any major rugby team. So I'm going to throw 5 minutes on the board. Ryan, man, dude, what's your thoughts?
I mean, Atlanta Sevens coming up. USA ranked 8th in the world right now, and in their pool they got Spain, Japan, and New Zealand. Spain, Japan ranking at 10 and 11 respectively, but I think the big one is New Zealand ranking at 2nd in the world with 28 points. Just finished up 5th in Brazil, but 2 big losses to New Zealand, 2 big blowout losses to New Zealand, which is pretty tough. They took care of Spain 33-0, so that shouldn't be too bad. But I think, and then they went on to the 3rd place game. Well, they made the Cup playoffs, went on the 3rd place game and lost again to New Zealand 28-0. So I think Spain and Japan they should be fine with. I think their biggest challenge is going to be to New Zealand in this upcoming Atlanta Sevens. Outside of that, though, not too bad. Our girl Nia Tapper, still on the squad, still representing. She's doing well. Saw that name come across. I was like, hey, I wrote about her.
I knew her first, all right? I'm a Ray J this thing. I did the writing first.
But no, like I was saying, man, I think they should come out of pool play somewhat strong. I'm going to be honest, I don't expect them to beat New Zealand, but I think they should come out. I mean, with only dropping 1, I think they can make the Cup playoffs again heading into Atlanta.
Chris, man, some thoughts?
No, Atlanta Sevens hoping to catch it while I'm down here for sure back stateside, but definitely you gotta look to Australia. They did well in Dubai, did well in Sao Paulo, so I'll probably look for them to go at least make the Cup final again on this tournament. For USA, I know they've had a little bit of a switching up in the coaching position, so unfortunately, Julian McCoy out, but they really stepped up and got Richie Walker in there as well, and I've had the opportunity to work with him, so I know he's getting the girls ready for the tournament. And it's a similar thing. I mean, when you're playing on your home soil, it just gives you that extra momentum and that extra energy to kind of do better and perform your best. So I really look for those girls to make it out of that pool and really compete in that Cup quarterfinal round for sure. I mean, regardless to New Zealand, they're always going to be, towards the top there. But, I fancy a good little upset, hopefully, for the USA girls. Let's get them some momentum going forward.
Dude, that's what I'm saying. Look, one of the big things that have been spotlit for me was that Richie Walker switching. Like, it just, one, that how it came, almost felt like it came out of nowhere, and nobody was really completely sure, what was going on. You didn't see any listings for it under coaching, and a couple weeks ago we talked about it a little bit more. But as the more and more news has come in and more sources, it seems like this Richie Walker hire this Richie Walker settlement has been really positive. You already have mentioned that you've worked with him before. He seems to have experience, but it seems like it's something that the women really appreciate, and they really actually like this Richie Walker, which I wasn't sure. I kind of was like, oh, this is the guy that's been an assistant coach with Suggett, and he did some U20 stuff, so I'm assuming he has some pretty decent knowledge. But sometimes you always worry if people are gonna get like this little patsy activity going on. But then whenever you find out that Wazale Sarevi is coming on to be able to help with the women under coaching as an assistant coach.
Not bad support.
Right. That's some beast mode shit. So it's a very interesting one. And then, the roster in itself is one that had me curious. Kristen Thomas on it, Jessica Javelet on it, Jillian Potter's back captaining the team. It looks like it's a very young team. They have at least 3 newcomers coming onto the playoffs. They're not going to have Kelly Griffin on this series, which is going to be very interesting as well. So it's kind of just like, all right, what do these U.S. women have? Because they really need to step up. They're 8th right now. You're 8th in the world, all right? And your biggest competition at this point is still Australia, New Zealand, England, and Canada. And Canada is murking people. Australia is murking people. That's your people. That's your people now, Chris. Australia is murking people. All right,
your boys.
I'll raise the Australia flag when I need to, but my heart's in the USA. I get the best of both, so I'm not too upset about it.
Dude, go ahead.
Sorry. Yeah, sorry to interrupt. Sorry, Cody, but to go back to the Richie Walker thing, I've worked with him as well. Super good coach. Super nice guy. I don't know what happened with Jules McCoy. It seemed like she had a lot of success at the ARPTC. I think I said that right. But working with him was awesome. He was really laid back, really lax. Took the time to teach everyone. I was a big fan of that hire.
Dude, from 2 people that have played either in championships or playing overseas, man, how much does coaching play into this sevens? Or coaching play into the mindset going into these kind of big tournaments?
I mean, for me personally, coaching definitely goes a long way. Well, it's not only just what you can coach the players, but how you can raise that kind of energy within the player group. And I know that's the biggest thing, as Ryan was saying, he just has that energy about him where he tends to bring people together. And I think that will kind of bring the girls together as they get ready for this Atlanta tournament, especially on home soil and everything like that. I mean, he knows a lot of the girls have been working with them for a while now, whether it's back with Sudget or when he does the stuff with Atavis as well. He just has an energy about him where he seems to just make everyone kind of push and raise their game up a bit.
Dude, Ryan, man, what about you?
Yeah, I mean, coaching, I mean, obviously plays a big part in what everyone, I mean, with any sport you want to get with. I mean, you can't know the game unless someone teaches it to you. But
lies! It was intrinsic. It was just athletically laden. No, I'm playing.
It was just in me.
It's just in me. Oh my god.
I think that a big part of coaching what people kind of look down on, not look down on, but like kind of forget about is the motivation and like making a team a family. And I think that's where he does a good job. Like when I worked with him, he was really big on motivating. Like, hey, you messed up. Let's fix it now. Let's go back after it again. So I think he's a really big motivator. Really knows how to bring a group of people together.
Dude, that's awesome. That's awesome. Well, it gets me a little bit more excited. Gonna get a chance to go see this Atlanta Sevens. Let us know what you think. We're gonna be doing a bunch of interviews out there, so it should be fun. It should be fun. I'm excited for this one. For some reason, this one's got me super, super hyped. I don't know. Maybe it's just because I'm kind of getting ready for like the Irish ladies to be like do the interviews and then like try not to swoon over the accents. But aside from that, the gameplay is just like gonna be awesome. But all right, guys. So let's move on. Hong Kong Sevens right on the table. Dude, you know we know the men are gonna be in it. Obviously, USA has a lot to prove. Dude, Chris, man, what's your thoughts? 5 minutes on the board. Go.
Oh man, best time of year, Hong Kong Sevens. You know, it's the biggest one you mark on your calendar. Even if you're just a fan, I mean, I look forward to watching it every year. I mean, 40,000 people in that stadium. I know Fiji won it last year. Very strong roster from what I've seen coming out as well. Got Semi Kunitani returning and Adoma Lila as well, who did really well at Vegas. So I'm looking for Fiji to probably make that cup final again. Unfortunately, I know Australia, my mates back home, had a few injuries so far this series and everything like that, but good to have Cameron Clark back. I think he'll give like a good kind of leadership role for them to kind of give them some go-forward ball. New Zealand, again, I mean, New Zealand's always stacked. You don't have your traditional big names like your Quade Coopers, Sonny Bills, or Habanas on this one, but you still have, you know, DJ Forbes and Nicholson that have been doing this since even before I even learned to pick up a rugby ball. So I'm sure that New Zealand will be up there competing as well. And USA, I mean, they're starting to get some of their main players back. Carlin Isles back, Maka Anufe. Zach Test is back as well. I know he had a bit of an injury and a bit of a knock. So it'll be good to see that core team for USA back and hopefully really compete at this tournament.
Dude, you know, Ryan, man, what's your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to focus more on the USA. It'll be great to have Isles back. He was off doing some running on the track a little bit. So good to have him back. Perry Baker, of course. But USA is currently sitting at 5th in the world. Pretty damn good. But as we saw in the last tournament they played in, they didn't do so hot. They weren't really as impressive as they could be. You could say because they didn't have Isles, but honestly, one guy doesn't make a team. Coming up in their pool, Portugal, Argentina, Australia. Argentina 6th in the world, Australia 4th, and Portugal 16th. So they should have a pretty easy time with Portugal. But Argentina and Australia are going to be a big test for them. I think if they kind of come out in this tournament, they have something to prove. They have a chip on their shoulder. So, I mean, if they can make it out of the pool play and make the Cup playoffs, that's going to say something. And I'm going to be honest, I'm going to say it, I wouldn't be surprised to see them in the Cup final.
Dude, you know what? I think that's a lot of big words. I think it's actually fairly accurate. I think a lot of what we're going to see from the U.S. will be back to that explosion. They've had a long time to rest, a long time to look over. You know, they've gotten a little bit more press, obviously, with Nate Ebner coming out and saying that he wants to be a part of it. He will be at Hong Kong Sevens, will not be playing for the USA, but it's nice to know that warm-up's going to kick in. But the big key, like you said, Chris, injuries. The injuries are the biggest key, and that one is going to be the big one for this USA team. They're getting injured players back. Like you said, Zach Tess, Maka Nufe coming back again, so we're going hot on that one. With Fiji, Fiji's going to end up winning this cup. I don't know. They're just too fast, too strong, and the discipline is insane. Right. You know, it's just they come out and it's just all power. Like, you know, they come out possessed or blessed or whatever you want to call it. It just seems to work out for them in the best way. You were talking about New Zealand, dude. One of my favorite parts of watching this New Zealand team is just watching the Beard, aka DJ Ford, like looking like one of the cops from Bad Boys 2 as they're about to go knock out those KKK members at the beginning of the movie. Like I just feel like every time he gets onto the field, he's about to gun and like destroy somebody, and I have to appreciate that, you know. Though I will say, Sonny Bill Williams is supposed to be on the roster according to the most recent update for the New Zealand side. So I don't know if he'll be starting, but I do know that he's at least on that roster for Hong Kong Sevens, at least as of recently. So yeah, dude, Chris, have you been to Hong Kong Sevens before?
No, it's on my bucket list for sure. Would love to go out there. I know, like you're saying, Nate Ebner's playing in that 10s tournament, so whether it's 10s or just going out there watching a bit of the 7s, it'd be kind of good to check out just that atmosphere of it. I mean, like you said, Fiji, for whatever reason, they love to make this a home tournament. I mean, even back when Serevi was playing, there's all this excitement in the air when Fiji's in Hong Kong. So look for them to kind of have that same possessed kind of energy like you're talking about on that field this weekend, and let's see what the USA can do.
Dude, so quick, we've at least seen Hong Kong Sevens, at least on stream or TV, if whatever you think. Why do you think that we haven't been able to like fully bring like that impact of the game? What makes Hong Kong Sevens so special? What do you guys think? Ryan, man, go ahead.
It's tough because there's so many great tournaments in the circuits. I mean, personally, I love Vegas Sevens, obviously, because it's in the U.S., but there's just something special about Hong Kong. I mean, because it's later on. I think it's because it's later on in the circuit, and you've already seen how the teams are playing, how they're matching up with each other. And so I think it's kind of, and I think we see some upset in Hong Kong too, but you really see how the teams are progressing throughout the tournament. And Hong Kong is kind of like that big cap. Like, all right, USA has lost to New Zealand, 3 times, and boom, now they've gotten their stuff together. They have the whole team, and now in Hong Kong, they can come take it out. I think it's, like I said, you've seen the teams progressing. I think Hong Kong's like the big one. All right, this is how we've been playing. They've made the changes, and now it's kind of like seeing like a somewhat of a new team because they're changing their strategies and their lineups.
Dude, Chris, your thoughts?
Yeah, no, totally agree. I mean, Hong Kong, like you're saying, midway through the year, everyone's starting to hit their stride a bit, getting a bit familiar with each other, starting to get in that rhythm of 7s again. I mean, just coming from what it was last year, you had 20-plus teams that were just playing rugby. It wasn't just the main tournament that was going on. You also had the qualifier tournament that was there. So it's pretty much rugby on steroids. It's everything you want as like a rugby fan and as a rugby aficionado. There's no better place to be. That's rugby heaven for me. But it's definitely gotten a lot bigger. I was at USA Sevens this year, and it was great to see the massive crowd that was there on day 2 and day 1, just supporting everything. I mean, I think the more time that we get and the more opportunities that we have to kind of showcase this sport, the bigger it's going to be. And it's already starting to pick up now from like the little kids all the way up to like the high school and club levels as well. So I think give it time, see if we can get up to that Hong Kong status.
Dude, that's what I'm saying. Look, I just want to get the ninja rugby happening over here at USA, like what they did last year, where they did like martial arts. It was like the coolest fucking thing I've ever seen in my life. Like it was something straight out of a movie. I loved it. I loved it. That's all I can say. I loved it. All right, so let's move on. D1 collegiate playoffs are kicking off, not this week, but next week. Technically, they started just this past week, but they will be kicking off actually this week and subsequently next week. Women's kickoff this week, men kickoff a little bit more so next week. Big teams happening in D1A, happening in women's D1 and women's D2, movement happening in D1 2A. I mean, there's a lot to go over. We can talk about it a little bit briefly, not too much. Dude, put 5 minutes on the clock. 5 minutes on the clock. Boom. Chris, man, what's your thoughts?
Oh, man, well, I mean, might be a bit partial to this, but you got to look out for the Life University team. I mean, had a tough game a couple weeks ago against Lindenwood, but able to pull that one out away, and then going up to Davenport this weekend in some blizzard-like conditions and trouncing them, I think, 34-0. So it was kind of good to see that result. Definitely look to see them going forward in the playoffs pretty far and hopefully get another rematch up there with St. Mary's. I know St. Mary's is down there to try and defend their title, and there's nothing that life would like more. Pretty similar to that BYU Cal setup to come back out there and try to get a chance to beat them again for sure.
Dude, Ryan.
Kind of just look at some of these games. You got Davenport going up at San Diego State. Davenport 0-3 right now. San Diego State sitting at 3-1. Pretty easy call right there, San Diego State. LSU versus Arizona. Gift. I know me and you kind of had a little argument on this one before show last week, and you're really pushing for LSU, but I just can't see it happening whatsoever. I think Arizona's going to absolutely wipe the floor with the Tigers. Wheeling Jesuit. Definitely an underdog in the D1A. Much smaller school, but a pretty respectable program. But, I mean, it's Lindenwood. Lindenwood, I know they just lost a tough game to Life, but, again, that's Life University. I've seen Lindenwood play before. monsters. And then Cal Poly and Air Force, both Cal's Poly sitting at 2-1, Air Force sitting at 3-2, but they're both 0-2 versus ranked teams. So I think this is actually going to be a really good game. But unfortunately, the winner goes on to play St. Mary's. And I don't think either could hold a candle to St. Mary's, to be honest with you. But I mean, obviously, the D1A playoffs, I mean, from what I've seen on paper right now, it's going to be pretty good. Other teams to look out for, Life in Indiana, who people keep sleeping on, and I'm getting sick of it. People don't respect Big Ten rugby. Have you seen how big Indiana is? Have you seen the cornbread Midwest Indiana folks? Because they're monsters. Look for Indiana to be the dark horse. You heard it here first.
Look, man, all right, I'm going to just kick off right off with the LSU Arizona. Look, man, all right, I respect Arizona. They've gone essentially 3-3 on the season. When it comes to teams in D1A, they pretty much they have a losing record this season, but they played literally 4-5 essentially ranked teams. They played Cal, they played St. Mary's, they played Lindenwood, all teams that whooped their ass. They played Utah, whooped their ass. They played Arizona State, they whooped Arizona State's ass. And then they've had a little cupcake game. They also played Notre Dame. That one was actually a Notre Dame favorability game. But the key that you can find is that they have kept a tough schedule. That being said, got to give a little love over to the LSU side because these guys, though people can underestimate the schedule, you underestimate the speed. Like, those cats are just in unison. It's like a single working unit. There's no player that's literally one too much or too little. And I've had a chance to watch 1, 2, 3 out of the teams that are happening in the D1. I've watched Davenport, LSU, Lindenwood, and then, in the next week, Life University and whatnot. But I have had a chance to see them, and that shit is no joke. I'm a little surprised you're going against Davenport since your boy Matt Houston is on there. But you know what? I guess.
It's Mike.
No Chicago love, no hometown love.
I have love, but it's San Diego State sitting 3-1. I'm sorry, Mike.
And then Cal Poly at Air Force. I got to give it honestly over to Cal Poly. It's one of those teams that are greatly underestimated. Lots of Peloponnesian guys, lots of experience. Was a small D1 2A school not too long ago, and they've just kind of ramped up through the ranks. So that's a big one. And then in terms of the second round, April 23rd, whoever plays Life. Davenport at San Diego, the winner of that one playing Life. Doesn't matter who's going to win because Life is going to end up taking that one. LSU at Arizona. That one, they'll end up facing Utah in the second round. Honestly, I really feel it's just going to depend on who can raise the money the best. Because Arizona has a closer game, but I think LSU does win, and I think it's just going to be a little bit tiring to be able to get it all ramped up and head up to the mountains of Utah to be able to take on Utah. So I'll probably end up still giving that to Utah. Cal Poly Air Force faces St. Mary's. St. Mary's won. I'm not even going to even talk about that. And then Lindenwood Wheeling Jesuit. I am ready for a Lindenwood versus the Indiana game. I've gotten a chance to see Lindenwood. I've seen Lindenwood twice. I've seen them against Midwest teams once. I saw them against Arizona. I've had a chance to see Indiana. I'm not underestimating them. I'm just saying they haven't. They're just not going to be there yet. That's all I got to say on that one. They're not there yet.
I'm going to look up their schedule and we're going to make an argument. Hold on. Because I'm telling you, because if you've not been reading the articles on D1A, because they've been doing pretty good.
No, they've been killing. One of the ones I wanted to go into, the women's playoffs. One of the big issues that came up with the women's playoffs is that the D1 level, there's not going to be a fall champion versus spring champion because the fall champion was unable to pay to do it. UConn women are unable to do it, and that one is definitely a toughie and it sucks. So we only get one spring championship. It's going to be made up of UC Davis versus Washington State, UC San Diego versus Chico State, Virginia versus James Madison, and North Carolina versus Central Florida. Not going to lie, I really only know about North Carolina versus Central Washington because, one, USA Rugby site is definitely not working fully right now, and two, there's not really good stats for women's rugby. Let's give just a little bit of recognition if we don't even know necessarily specifics. But what we would hope to be able to see. Oh, and there's a D2 playoffs happening. as well. Your team, your partner team, UNC Charlotte, taking on Salisbury, Chris. So, yeah, dude, Chris, what's some thoughts on it?
No, good to see the local team getting it. I know a few of the girls and a few of the coaches out that way, so it's good to see, Charlotte get back on the map there, at least with D2. So best of luck into their round 16. They're actually playing at the Rugby Athletic Center here this past weekend, and could not be more happier about the result. So good on the girls for that one. Good to see that result. But for the women's competition for that D1, I remember coming out to Atlanta last year and watching a bit of Central Washington play Penn State, and one of the grueling grand finals. So I really look for them, kind of Central Washington, with that experience and that background that they do have in some of that higher competition. Look for them kind of lead from the pack going forward.
Man.
I found the schedule, Gift. I found the schedule.
You gotta make sure about Indiana now. You watch it.
Right?
Yeah, listen, this is what we got. They blew the shit out of Notre Dame 56-8. Wheeling Jesuit, they blew the shit out of 44-17. Lost a little bit of a tough one to Penn State, 48-32, and then gave Western Michigan the business, who is an up-and-coming team, by the way, 68-10. Sleep on them. Sleep on them.
Dark horse pick there.
That's what I'm saying. Sleep on them if you want. You know what's going to happen.
Look. You know what? We'll see April 23rd. I'm putting my money on Lindenwood.
I
JD
swear they lose, and I look like an idiot right now. I hate when this happens.
It's going to come down, and there will be nothing but clear shaming. Just pure shaming occurring.
I just lose my job on this.
You're out. We're out. We don't take shit predictions anymore.
Yeah, right.
You made that one Indiana call. Now you're done.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Your whole career's over. No rugby media for you anymore.
Get a new job.
Oh man. All right. I want to give a little shout out. Tulane University D2 women's Sweet 16s. They are a second year team who came in second in the SIRC rugby conference. So much props out to them and Georgia and Arkansas and Eckerd, but really Tulane because that's hometown state love. All right. So didn't really talk about this too much, but I just want to do a quick go over. Pro Rugby North America, we all have some small association to it. It's one of those things that we see kicking off in about 2 weeks, and it looks like it's feeling more and more like something's generating. Let's do a quick 5 minutes. Dude, Ryan, man, what's your thoughts of what's been going on so far?
I mean, I'm going to base this off of just what's going on social media. I love it. They're giving behind the scenes. They're killing it in social media. I mean, some teams you're not hearing as much of, but I mean, just what you're seeing on social media is pretty cool. Like the Ohio team I know is doing so, and I see because I follow Paul Holmes on Twitter. So the Ohio team's been putting all this stuff. You're seeing behind the scenes practices, what they're doing. I'm not a big fan of the jerseys. I think they could have done so much better with the jerseys, but
they totally look like some Star Trek 1970s sash jerseys.
Honestly, when they first came out, I thought they were like just generic practice jerseys. You could have got a graphic design. You could have called someone at a sponsor and gotten so much cooler designs. I don't even think they have mascots yet, which is kind of weird. But regardless, it's cool to see professional rugby players getting paid, and it's been a long time coming. But yeah, like on social media, you're seeing player profiles, players saying like, "Hi, I'm from here" and whatnot. But I really like what they're doing with their social media. I'm a big fan. I just want to know what the move is broadcasting wise.
Yeah. The rugbychannel.tv kicked off. Looks like it started, but there's been nothing that says Pro Rugby on it. So I'm a little confused because it seems like the natural spot for them to put all the ish on. Chris, man, dude, what's your thoughts? You got one of your teammates, and well, actually multiple teammates that you have played with on there. You got literally personal experience with most of the players that are going to be in there and coaches.
Yeah.
So
I've got a few boys up there in Ohio, Matt Houston and Slater, my boys, and a few guys out there in San Diego and Sacramento and stuff like that. It's great to see these guys get these opportunities to come back and play, and it gets me excited to actually be back in the States and hopefully get an opportunity to kind of make one of these teams. And man, I mean, looking aside from, the jerseys, like the Miss Universe pageant sash ones up there, I'm a little bit partial to that San Diego Charger, that yellow and blue San Diego's got going on. A lot of good stuff going out there. they've got a visit by Cam Newton as well. So, hopefully a bit of dabbing and some other training going on while they're out over that way besides rugby. So it's such good to see all this press and stuff like that that's going out for it. It's good, especially after that whole NRFL was an heir apparent trying to take off.
Oh, yeah, don't get me going with that.
To see this pro rugby get its thing going and go forward and have these teams, have these jerseys, have these stadiums announced, and even like you're saying on the social media, when you're starting to look and they're doing these interviews, whether it's like local like news stations or radio stations, the word is getting out. So I'm really hoping that these tickets they're on sale now, if I'm not mistaken. So I really hope that these tickets start going out pretty fast. I mean, there is definitely a market for it, and if they can get that stream working, I know it's gonna come with great benefit to the U.S.
Yeah, no, dude, I can't disagree with that. I've got to say, I follow all of the teams on social media. Right now, hands down, Pro Rugby Ohio, Pro Rugby San Diego, absolutely killing it. Pro Rugby Ohio with Paul Holmes just giving everything, just showing a lot of the workouts, etc. like that. That's cool. But I got to give Pro Rugby San Diego. They're making it cool. Like, that's your home. Once again, your home team is, messing it up for everybody else, all right? So that's two. That's two.
Man, I'm proud of that. I'll take that any day.
But, no, I have to give them props. I mean, the Cam Newton thing was just, that's a lot of legitimacy. Like, that's attacking the youth base. That's how you build a fan base, legitimately. They're doing, like, stories, and they're also doing the exercise. They got one of the dudes who does, like, 10 minutes of, like, behind the scenes, which is awesome. It makes you feel so much more connected to them. It's almost like somebody said, hey, this is how you actually do social media, and then removed everybody that was over the age of 35, because clearly I have a very strong beef with people over 35 and social media and who are not in the industry. But someone said, you know what? This is how you actually make this interesting and make people actually want to give some kind of fucks about what it is that you guys are doing, because I'm seeing these guys like Mike Teo and a couple of the guys like Oliver Khalifi, I think is the one that's there for San Diego. Guys that I wouldn't have paid any attention to, and now I'm just like, you know what? I kind of want to be fans of you guys, because you guys seem cool. Like, you guys really seem like this is really down. You guys seem like you're having some serious fun here, and that's what was needing to be done. Denver's, I've seen a little bit of Sacramento. Their stuff is very generic. Couple guys pushing some stuff, a little bit of workouts here and there. If you're gonna do that, you got to be as numerous as Paul Holmes. Like, you gotta just keep hitting us with it until we're just so oversaturated. But they're not really doing any of that. San Francisco, I think, forgot how to use social media. I don't think they realize what it's supposed to mean.
What kind of button is this?
What do you do here? What is this Twitter? Facebook? I don't know why I sound weirdly racist Japanese, but still. But and then I got Denver. You're not doing anything, and you got USA Rugby. Like, somebody needs to get on their game on those three teams. Sacramento at least is trying, but San Diego and Ohio are looking to really kill it. And right now I have to be an Ohio fan because still all the people that are southern based here are pretty much up in Ohio, and I gotta give props. Gotta follow my peoples, man. Gotta follow the love on that one. All right, dude. Final thoughts for today. Chris, man, dude. Any final thoughts for today? Anything. Doesn't matter.
Hey, I think the great time to come back to the States. There's so much stuff going on. We got Pro Rugby now. We got Atlanta Sevens, Hong Kong Sevens. Like, if you are a rugby fan, it's just going to be a good week for it. Get ready for the month of April.
Hells yeah. Dude, Ryan.
Yeah, I'm with you, man. Good time to be a rugby fan. Got a big game coming up, Spring Hill-wise, our alumni game, all the old boys coming back. So that's going to be fun. And then our season's done. We're wrapped up. I can't believe another season's come and gone, so just getting ready to take some time off. May or may not play some summer sevens, man, but it's crazy how fast time's flying.
Yeah, man, we're already 4th month into the year. Like, it's going by. Dude, I'm excited. I said it earlier. I'm ready for Atlanta Sevens. I'm ready to see what the hell is going down. Ready to talk to and do interviews and enjoy some time. Enjoy the tournaments that are going to be going on beforehand. I hope people actually go to it because, real talk, Atlanta Sevens is pretty damn awesome. Might be a little biased because can be a little bit behind the scenes, but for whatever it's worth, it's pretty bloody awesome in my opinion.
Oh yeah,
dude. And other than that, dude, Chris. Thank you so much for being on, dude.
Shit, man.
I've been trying to find a way to
hope
bring
I can
you
invite
back.
it back. I know you're a bit salty that I left you, but I'm back in the States now, so I won't be leaving for a while.
I died on the inside 2 times over.
Hey, you and me both. It's a two-way street. You and me both. Don't worry about that, I guess.
No, we're definitely having you back on again at some point. Definitely within the next couple weeks. If not for championship time, something's gonna go down. I need your expertise,
I'll be
man.
down there Atlanta 7s. Don't worry. You can't get rid of me yet.
What? Oh, hell yeah! Fuck yeah, dude. It's about to go down. See, Flynn, you could have been there, but you want to go play and do alumni stuff.
We'll play rugby. We'll actually doing it. I would say you put on the cleats every once in a while.
You know, I try, but you know, I don't wanna, you know, overcoat anybody with all the awesomeness.
Touch. Too much work with the camera and the computer. You can't even put on the boots anymore.
We gotta tie your shoelaces by now.
Right?
Yeah, exactly. What's a scrum cap?
What? You put feet in this? How do you work it? Man. Oh, this was awesome, guys. Dude, if you guys have any other questions, let us know. Dude, what are your thoughts? Pro Rugby, how do you feel it's building? Shoot us a Twitter. You can find us on Facebook, on Instagram, on Twitter, GiftTime Rugby. Dude, check out Ryan on Ryan Flynn 56. Hit up Chris CWM8391. That's the Australian now wonder. Follow his adventures overseas, man, and while he's still in the States, and just to be generally awesome. So, hope you guys enjoyed. You guys have a great one. This is Rugby Sense.
No nonsense.
And we are out.